Bum, ba, ba, bum, ba. Bum, ba, ba, bum, ba.
Come here, buddy.
My mom's been there for me through every sport,
Nice shot.
keeping me fueled.
We'll get him next time.
Thanks to her, I finally found what I love.
You're always there for them, and we're always here for you. Food Lion, here for every moment.
Girl, don't pick it. It's not worth it. Help heal it with a Biore blemish patch.
I want to say whole because you guys have enough molds now, but is there like an in-between part where you're like, we got something planned for that kind of hole in your bag?
I mean, I will say,
Think that was kind of a funny joke he did, but yeah, it was a Double G Craft Jerky sponsorship. He said, "Where am I going?" So
Yeah. One other person that we forgot to say when we were talking before the show was Paige Shu.
Yes.
Hasn't announced. She announced a bag sponsorship, but she hasn't quite yet announced a manufacturer sponsorship. So curious to see where she ends up. I mean, for playing for DD, her father works there or used to work there. I don't know how it is now, but being with DD for so long, won a world championship with Dynamic Discs. Curious to see where she ends up as well.
okay.
Her dad still works there. I believe his title is president. I
Okay.
might be misspeaking there,
Okay.
but very high up in Dynamic Disc still.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows where she's going? We said we have
we've
Eagle
we've
lined
never
up.
had her on the show, so when she
We will.
announces, we got to pick her up because
Alright,
I don't
got
think
my
we
chat.
have we?
I don't think
Got
so.
my
There's a lot.
string.
All right.
But
Yeah.
we also have Thought Space Athletics, so take that for what you will. We just thought that would be an interesting interview as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead, intern Ben. Let's bring in our guest of the evening, our main guest of the evening, Eagle McMahon. How's it going, Eagle? And are you in a warm climate or a cold climate?
Thanks for having me on, first and foremost.
appreciate
And
it.
I would probably say a little bit of both. It's warm some days and cold on the others.
Is this Colorado?
Yeah, this is home. It's kind of right in that. It's not as Colorado's not as cold as people think it is, but we can definitely get some spells of cold weather. It snowed like a foot 2 weeks ago, and that's basically taken a lot of disc golf out of my my daily routine. But fortunately, like an hour south and an hour north, there's not much snow, so I got up to play yesterday. So playing when I can.
Okay.
I was gonna say, how does that go in your off season? Are you like, let's say every single day was 65 degrees or better? You know, how does your off season go when it comes to actually playing rounds of disc golf?
I'd say it's few and far between, honestly. I try to keep it sharp to a certain degree, but some of my most successful years have been years where I've played minimal disc golf. I feel like my game, of course, there is always room to grow your craft, but I feel personally that a lot of the basic things, especially what I can practice here in Colorado, given that it's the courses are a little bit softer, it's higher altitude, that I don't really feel like I can really practice anything all that well other than being in the gym and like more of cultivating a mindset, being more durable for the season to come. So usually before a tournament or before the start of the season, I try to start throwing maybe a month or 2 months before the actual start, and that's just really consists of the fundamentals, approaches, putting, maybe some distance shots, conditioning for the overall season.
Now, I've seen a lot of players actually head down south or out west into the warmer climates. Do you have any plans of, you know, a month before the Vegas tournament going down somewhere where it is good temperature every single day, or are you going to stick it out in Colorado right up until you got to leave for Vegas?
The only
Or
thing
the
I have
All-Star?
The only thing I have planned is I'm choosing to start the season in San Diego for the Goat Hill Challenge. That's going to be the second weekend in February, I believe. and that'll give me a good opportunity to kind of get the taste of playing at a tournament again, conditioning myself prior to playing Vegas.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, the live chat and the viewers right now, for those who are listening post, you don't care about it, but hey, you got to pull me up now. We're doing one up. We're leaving Nick up there.
You asked me
He's
to-
multitasking
you asked
3
me to
things.
chat.
Okay.
Can we do the 2 up?
He can, but then he's not multitasking. We don't pay intern Ben for nothing. All right. Eagle, you mentioned durability. I gotta ask, do you think you're eating meat now? I saw some video about that a little while ago. I mean, is that something that you're noticing at this point at all, or no?
Yeah, I started eating meat, or let's just say red meat,
Okay.
in May, and it was kind of, I was toying with my diet a little bit before then, some other animal products, but kind of full on, right when I switched, I kind of went more, I wouldn't say carnivore, but it's kind of along the same lines as like a Katrina Allen diet, and I've already noticed just a little bit more endurance, a little bit more strength, and just it feels good too. It's nice to be able to be invited over to people's houses and actually be able to eat stuff. I feel like people are even being friendlier to me now.
That's
Oh, get out of here.
That's interesting.
Like Gannon and Gavin's boy Matt. He's already invited me over for he does this
the
steak review show.
Interview, yeah.
So he's already pumped to have me on the show this year. So it's it's definitely opened up some different opportunities. But all in all, I'm feeling pretty good, and I believe that vegan diet can be done well, and I had so many successes on a vegan diet, but what it comes down to is you really have to know your stuff and essentially supplement, do everything right. And it's so hard to do when you're on the road.
Yeah.
And just over the course of my career, I'd want to set myself up for success for whenever I can. And after a lot of thought, I just decided that this is probably the best thing for me to do. And so far, I feel like there's no turning back.
Yeah, and I feel I wasn't asking that question at all for hey, which is better. I was just purely interested, and the chat was as well. What are you noticing? And I think that's interesting to hear. I love the people are being friendlier. That's what I didn't expect. That's really cool. And then I have one more, and I'm sure Nick's got a lot. We got a lot to talk about, but am I saying this correctly? Kendama? Is that
Kendama? Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that, because it seems like something I'd enjoy doing. It's like the fidget spinner for those who are more skilled.
Yes,
Here, go
exactly.
full screen on them for a minute.
So the best way I can describe it is it actually has its roots in Japan. I don't know the historic the date when it was created, but I know it's been around for a long time. And it's just now that it's kind of becoming more popularized in the West. But along the same lines as say a yo-yo, anything kind of coordination, skill toy related, it's right in the same vein as that. So the thing that's so cool about it is how versatile it is. There's 3 different cups. You have the big cup, small cup, and base cup, and then you have the spike. This ball is actually called the tama, and inside out it's all made out of wood, and the spike goes on here. And usually a basic trick would be pulling it up, getting it to sit in a cup, and flipping it over to the next cup, base cup, and then at the end, all the G's, all the kendama G's like to end all the tricks with the spike. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. A lot of people are throwing very complex tricks, juggling, stall tricks where you're balancing the tama on the ken. That's what the handle, the whole apparatus is called. And it's just so great for hand-eye coordination. It's really great for disc golf during backups. Like yesterday, when I was waiting for all my friends to throw, I'm just on the back of the tee pad jamming with it. So I feel like it goes hand in hand with disc golf, and it just gives yourself that little extra challenge to do on a day-to-day basis. And back in 2018, I learned how to juggle, and I feel like disc golf has a fair bit of hand-eye coordination. So any way you can train that is going to be a positive, and it's going to translate really well into the sport.
All right. Shout out to Pat McMahon. He said, we're more excited to talk about meat and kendama than disc golf. LOL. Hey, we're just starting out with the softball here, okay? Softball. That's what we're doing.
Oh, I know.
Are you planning to have that on the tour with you, like carrying it in your bag when you're at an event?
Yeah, actually, like right here, there's like a little strap that Sweet Kendama sells. So it just it straps right on there. So
No.
you'll always see a kendama hanging from my bag out on the course.
Nice, good for you. I guess we'll jump a little bit into disc golf now, since that's I think why a lot of people knew you were coming on. Before we get into anything Simon related, talk to us about the 2023 season in general. Are you looking to play more events this year? How is any injury going throughout the off season? We see you taking a ton of ice baths and stuff like that. How has just the rehab been for that, and then what's your 2023 schedule look like?
Yeah, so at the start of the year, I bought my tour card, so I'm signed up for all the Silver Series and Elite Series I want to play. Plan on being at all the majors. I haven't been able to sign up for those yet, but oh, cool. Okay. Sorry, Matt was talking. I heard something behind the scenes. Yeah, so I got my tour card and
How is just
planning
the
to be
rehab
at pretty much all the Elite
Where are my
Series,
viewers?
a handful of Silver Series, according to the points. It seems
I'm
like
assuming
you should
I have
try to
none,
play
but what if
3
I
Silver
don't?
Series if you're serious about
Oh well.
the point structure. So just going to all the events that make the most sense for me. Right now, the only event I'm really thinking about skipping is the DDO. I love what Jeremy Rusko and DD does out there, but I've been to Emporia too many times now, and I deserve a year off. But other than that, I'm going to do my best and, just kind of take the season how it comes. Health is first and foremost, but I feel like I've gotten to a place where I'm durable enough to play events week in and week out, and that process takes place every day, whether it's eating meat, taking an ice bath, or doing whatever training. So I'm really focused. I think about disc golf all the time, and I just want to be on lead card again. I'm really pumped to show the world what I got once again.
Nice.
Where is it? Aha! Coach and arrow with rat bait. All right.
At the top?
What we gonna
But you have to know, like, in the media side, we're all chatting. We're like, you're leaving out Eagle, but we all know he's there. It's like, it's in our head. Do you feel like coming back this year, like...
Oh, hey, Matt, you're still muted on
I fixed it. Do you feel like
okay, sorry.
you are going to be there?
Absolutely. Like yesterday, just as long as I feel confident within myself and get in a good groove, I'm very confident in my own skill level. I know what it takes. Like, if it's me versus the course, I feel like I should be beating the course every single time. And if I can go out there and do that, then I don't really care what other people do. The biggest realization for me over the years is you really have to focus on just yourself in disc golf, and you really are just wasting time if you think about any other people. And I believe in my my ability. If I'm feeling good that weekend, then I don't see a reason why I shouldn't be on the top of the leaderboard. But of course, there's going to be times where it's going to be tough and you're going to lose that confidence, but it's about how long you stew in those negative feelings and turn it around so you can get back out on the top. So I basically didn't play any disc golf this year compared to other years, but I got my biggest tournament win. So it's so ironic how disc golf works. I feel if I put the effort in, it's going to take shape in some way, and I feel like I've been putting in a lot of great effort. So just got to keep on that grind. And the mountaintop looks nice. There's those wins, but once you get those wins, there's still more work to be done. So keeping that in mind is also really important, because as soon as you think you've achieved success, that's only the tip of the iceberg, because then you got to learn how to stay up there, and that's even tougher. And that's what I'm trying to figure out now.
You gave an excellent answer, and people probably don't need to know the question, but I had muted myself. So when I was asking you the question, you were hearing me. That's great. I'm glad you were able to answer it. But I will just reiterate quickly. I said, in media, we look at last year, and Eagle wasn't there at the top of the charts because of the amount of events you played, your injuries. But we all talked about it inside group chats that, well, we know we're leaving Eagle out, but we know he is there. And then I just followed up to say, Eagle, are you there this year? Like, is that where you're going to be? So that was his answer to that. And by the way, guys, don't give me a mute button, I guess. I was still coming off of a sickness, and every now and then when we go off camera, I'll hit mute and like clear my throat or blow my nose, and I forgot to unmute. That's my bad. I apologize. But so, do you think you're at full health if you had to go like the whole 100% to 0% thing? Are you at 100, or will you ever be at 100?
Well, that's a great question. I think we're always changing, and it's kind of subjective to get that answer because there's been times where I haven't been on full health. But I would say, you know, for the generic answer, I'd say I'm about 85, 90%. I'm still kind of cautious of the forehand, but I am throwing it. I have about 350, 375, absolutely kind of locked down now, comfortable. I probably could push it more than that, but I'm being very cautious, making sure I condition my body and stay on top of it. And you know, throwing some lefties, and the backhand's gotten a lot better. I feel like my game's at a point where I can compete and feel confident.
Hey, I like that. I appreciate the fact that you took what could have been a very difficult answer, and you're like, generically, everybody, 80 to 85. And so does it hurt if you were to throw forehand, or you're just cautious? You're just not there 100% in your mind?
I'm cautious because I've studied the shoulder a lot, and it's such a weird joint, ball and socket joint, that it can feel good, and then like whoop, it's everything goes wrong. So it's like you really have to be careful, but also stress it. It's kind of like a thin line to walk, but as long as I feel like it's holding up good, the muscles are strong, then I feel confident going into this year.
Okay, and Nick, I'll hand it over to you in just a second here, but when we were on mute, the chat was like, they're definitely talking about where Simon's going, and they just muted it.
Exactly.
Like, that's what happened. They muted it. It's
That would actually be hilarious.
Let's just take this off air for a minute, guys. We'll be right back. No. So
Intermission.
Nick, you got a question? I've got more, but I'll let you line.
Yeah, sort of, kinda. Your breakout season, where we first kind of saw you, not necessarily breakout season, but when we first really started seeing Eagle and Command on live or post-produced coverage, whatever, it was 2015. Now, 8 years later, we're heading into the 2023 season. Just, did you ever think that disc golf was going to get where it's at right now? Did you ever think you were going to get where you're at right now? And especially with all the huge changes that are happening in the last few years of our sport, is it kind of a surreal moment of, hey, I get to do this for a living?
Yeah, definitely looking back to think how far disc golf and myself have come is absolutely incredible. And if you go back in time, I would hope to see that disc golf would have gotten to where it's at now, because there's so many people, players, media, and companies alike, putting their heart and soul into the sport. So I think all the hard work that the collective hard work that us as disc golf put in has gotten us to where we are. And I think it's really amazing, and I think we've earned where we've gotten to, and I can't wait for more.
All right, you heard the news, you knew the news. Simon literally put you out there and said, I called Eagle 2 times a day, some days for a month. So there's a few things we'd love to know from your perspective on this, and besides where he's going. He announced that he left. I saw you in the green room when we were having this conversation. What's your perspective on why it seems like the disc golf world is in this emotional state with him leaving Discmania? You don't see this as much with other players, was our perspective. What do you think?
Yeah.
If you are watching, let me know.
If you look at his Instagram, if you look at his YouTube, it's obvious that he has a huge audience.
Mm-hmm.
And for how long he's been creating content, you can go back pretty much to the start of Discmania. To start off was with Avery doing the flying circus, and then trick shots, and then vlogs. He's won people's heart over the last decade, and I would say that a lot of players really can't say the same. Like, obviously, Paul, Ricky, they're larger than life within disc golf. but you don't see them creating content and resonating with people as much as Simon. And Simon so many times has given his bag. Like whenever he sees like a short or like a kid out there, he takes a disc out of his bag to give to them. So like he's made a huge impact of the hearts of disc golfers, and I feel like he's like one of the only people to like do that at such a wide scale. So I think that's kind of merit to why there's as much of a reaction as there is now.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's insightful. He seems to have this interesting, in the moment at least, and I don't want to speculate on like his feelings. I can talk to him later, but the idea of, is it bittersweet? He keeps going down. He hasn't landed on what his emotions are right now, but I think once we find out and once he's with the other company, I think it'll be full tilt forward. But he said he was offered the world in so many ways. We don't know what that means with Discmania. I think it's an interesting question to ask you. You're in the off season. You obviously have made a career out of your athletic disc golf abilities. You're sponsored by Discmania. How does him announcing his departure affect you as a person and for your career?
That's a great question, and like it's still unknown territory for Discmania myself.
Oh, Madon!
You know, Simon's an incredible teammate. He's an incredible asset to have. So definitely not having him part of the team as a crush boy, we don't really know what the future holds for that. So, you know, for me personally, it's going to be a little bit weird to start the year, especially doing all like promotional stuff because we're so heavily incorporated with like Discmania's marketing, Discmania's plans, to not have that like we have had it in the past now. So it's like a lot's going to change, and I'm excited for it, but at the same time, you know, I'm probably going to feel nostalgic a lot of the time. So this is probably going to be a better question maybe a few months from now, but you know, right now it's a little scary, but also it's exciting in other ways.
Interesting. I'm not here on this show when we have guests usually to give my opinion, but I do want you to kind of react to this or give me your thoughts. My initial thought was like, there's only benefit to you for Simon to move on. Like that was my initial thought, and I was thinking down a whole bunch of different reasons for that. But you actually just brought up the possibility that like his huge who he is, fan base, what he does for the company could possibly be maybe a negative thing for Discmania. I mean, I guess Discmania probably sees it that way, but I mean like company, the way the companies run or functioning, the health.
I don't understand how to find
Are you
this
saying
thing.
that maybe that could start to go a little bit?
I don't know
also can't believe
necessarily
that
that.
they
Obviously,
Russian
anything's a
sewer or something.
possibility. But you know, obviously, like if you lose LeBron James from Cleveland, then it's going to be a little bit of a hit. But you know, we have some aces up our sleeve, and we still have a ton of employees. We still got dreams and aspirations of our own right. So we're going to still do our best, of course. But you know, it's a big deal. Like since Paul leaving, this has been the biggest news in disc golf, and like I'm honestly kind of shocked by the response. Like I've known about it since November, and I watched the videos yesterday, and you know, it definitely was a little bit emotional in some ways because
forget it. We're moving on.
Simon's helped me grow my brand from the get-go, and I think we've kind of, you know, helped each other. Like weekends where I haven't played good, he's played good, and vice versa. So it's like it's been a total like team concept for disc golf, and it's been an incredible ride. But you know, nothing lasts forever. It seems like.
Do you remember your initial reaction when Simon first? Because he had said, you know, I think in his videos he had talked with you, talked with other people. Do you remember your initial reaction of, you know, hey, Ego, I'm potentially leaving Discmania?
Wow. Yeah, I remember the phone call, and I keep as much things confidential as possible. But
we're only live, Eagle.
He told me that he got an offer. He had a meeting with a blank person, and I heard the offer, and I'm like, dang, dude. Well, you know, as a friend, first and foremost, you have to consider what's best for you, and you know, you gotta listen to your heart at some point. So, and that's what he said in the video. And after a lot of contemplation, a lot of talking to me, a lot of talking to Discmania, it turned out that Discmania wasn't in his heart. I mean, it's not bad. Like,
yeah,
I'm saying this as a friend first and foremost. I'm supportive of him moving and taking this next step on his journey. But you know, it's 10 years at Discmania. It's crazy.
How can you still be friends though and not be on the same team? I saw your Instagram story. Like, it's interesting the world that we live in and the way people perceive teams, right? And you kind of like, just for me in the Northeast, right, in New England, the Patriots, like it's kind of becomes your identity of who you are, a team, right? And so people that are identifying with Team Discmania in their minds, or actually on the team, they see it hard, I guess, to be like, you can be friends with someone off the team. So what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just felt the need to make that little story because I try not to read too many comments, but I was seeing some of them, and it just like, I felt like it was an important public service announcement. It seems like as soon as you go to a different company, then you know that relationship is just cut off, and that's completely not true. I talked to Simon today. We have Airbnbs, and I imagine like the Crush Boys will live on in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not in a monetary sense, but hey,
I think, again, you don't have to react to this, although you're more than welcome to. I think this could be a financial opportunity for you down the road. Any reaction to that at all? Like the opportunity, he was offered.
Like why? This is so fast. This is why did I not do this gallop before?
And so I'm just thinking down the road there might be more conversations. Is that something that might happen?
You know, we'll see. Hopefully that door stays open.
Discmania, are you listening?
Everything's always changing, and it's a wild world out there.
Oh wait. If we're gonna read into this the same way we've been reading into Simon Lizotte for the past month and a half, Eagle just said everything's always changing. Where's he going, people? Where's he going? Let's
no. I'm with Discmania.
You know what? Eagle's just gonna get the bag. That's where he's going. To the bag.
What?
To the bank.
Oh, to the bank. Okay.
Yeah. He's getting the bag.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking there's a lot of things we're probably missing here. I'm trying to see. We told the chat to go ahead and give us a few questions if they wanted to. We'd ask some of them. 871 concurrent viewers. That's pretty good for us, so we can get a few questions in here.
But I'll hop in with one.
Yeah, go ahead. I just came up with one, but Evan, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm here, guys. I haven't talked in a while.
Oh yeah, Eagle Evan's here. What's that, man?
What is going on? Let's talk Colorado for a bit. We finally saw, let's say, an elite event at Colorado with the Match Play Championship coming to the mountains of Colorado. What do you see being the Pro Tour side of things, the future of Colorado as far as hosting events?
That's a great question. Like the match play that took place at Daly, and I think some of our mountain courses is our strongest infrastructure. I think they're the best chance of getting an Elite Series style event on the actual tour, not just exhibition, is probably doing something similar to the Portland Open, or I don't know too much information on the Open at Austin, but I believe that they're going to be renting out like a golf course of such. So I think in the future maybe some destination mountain town on a golf course could really give disc golf a chance of getting on the Elite Series. But of course, then you have to have a good club, which we do. But obviously that takes a lot of manpower and initiative to make something like that happen.
What's that thing?
Yeah, I didn't figure this before, but you played at Vales. They have a golf course. Was that where the tournament was? You played out there, like a golf course in the mountains, and then also having a mountain course nearby. Is that what you're getting at, or two separate things?
I think you're talking potentially about the GoPro Mountain Games. At times they had set up some sort of disc golf course on the golf course, but I think it was for like one day. It wasn't fully rented out nor permanent, and that moved on to just being kind of at like a, let's say, more of a winter sports complex. But I have played some courses in Colorado that took place on a golf course in the mountains that could be potentially good venues, but nothing really comes to mind at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing Zootown come on as a Silver Series. I don't know if that's one of the ones you're hitting up, which if you know which Silver Series you're planning on attending, would love to hear that too. But
yeah,
yeah, go ahead with that.
Yeah, I looked at Zootown. It looked like a cool event. I've never been to Montana, and I would like to knock off another state. So that looks like a really cool opportunity, especially because Glacier National Park's just north of there, and I think that would be a really cool trip. I'm going to be doing that one, Beaver State Fling, and the Disc Mania Open, which is towards the end of the year in Prince Edward Island. So some pretty cool Silver Series stops.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'm dying for mountain disc golf. I love what match play was last year. I thought it was really unique, change of pace. I'm hoping for it. I know it's going to logistically kind of.
I would love it too.
There's something in the water in Colorado. We have tons of good players who all can bomb. So get in Colorado, get events there, grow the sport as much as we can.
I love it.
Okay.
But over to you, Matt.
Okay, so I remembered what it was. I'm just going to start saying manufacturers' names, so we're just going to stare at you. That's what it is. Lone Star.
I'm just gonna start cheesing right now.
Just cheese the whole time.
Yeah.
Gateway.
Give some weeks.
MVP.
ABC
You're getting hot there. Wow.
Thought Space Athletics.
Whoa.
Wait. Oh, they're not on the show yet. We will bring them on. Just kidding about it. Franklin.
All I can say is I talked to Simon today, and I think the announcement's pretty soon. But that's
awesome.
basically all I can say.
That's what I think we're all feeling. We're feeling this thick air. It's just there. He says yesterday was his last round with Discmania.
It's so funny. And the other thing I can share is like I was talking to Simon today, and he was like still talking to UC, and it's like you're on a new team, and you're still talking to UC. It's
that's
like
awesome.
It's like what was in the video is completely true.
Yeah.
Like there's so many emotions tied. Like Discmania is still his family. He can still come to any one of us on the team. Like he's not going to stop being friends with Avery, the person who like was like a father to him. And same with UC. There's so many people that are a part of the family, and Simon will still remain that way.
That's a great point. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. He's talked about UC in a lot of great ways over the years, and I bet you he's like, hey, UC, does this seem like a good deal? Should I do it? And UC's like,
no,
wait
100%.
a minute. Wait a minute, bro. You're leaving Discmania? Like, that's hard. But I bet you if this conversation happened, I bet you UC did say, like, bro, I don't want you to. But as you said, Eagle, you said as a friend first, you're looking out for the best. So I bet you that happened. But again, we're going to try to line Simon up to hear from his perspective when this actually comes out. Let's see. We've got a little bit of time left. Do you want to go into the last 7 or 8 minutes here doing stat or fiction, Eagle? Are you down for that game?
It's faster to run.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's line it up, Ben. Here we go. You got it, Ben?
Yep.
Okay, go. Stat or fiction? Presented by Statmando. Evan, take it away, and in turn, Ben, clear the points.
Yes, sir.
All right, Eagle, have you played this game before or know how it goes?
I think I can wing it.
Okay, well, pretty much I'm going to say a statement. You say if it's true or false, but the twist is it's a stat or it's a fiction.
I like it.
All right. So we have the NCAA championship for college football tonight, and big game, Georgia versus TCU. So with that, we have the disc golf collegiate championships. In 2022, it was hosted, and they had a singles tournament within it. Of course, there's a team aspect to it as well. But stat or fiction number 1 is Evan Cole won the 2022 College Disc Golf National Championships D1 singles, as in the singles event.
And then I'll start, go to Matt, and then go to you, and then we'll.
You're saying that
flip
is
through.
the stat or fiction that he did that?
Yeah, Evan Cole won the 2022 College Disc Golf National Championship. It's not me, Evan. It's a different Evan.
Yeah.
Oh, we thought it was
fiction.
Nick says fiction. I'm saying fiction. What do you think, Eagle?
I've never heard of Adam or Evan Cole?
Evan Cole.
Yeah.
I never heard of him, so I gotta go fiction.
Dang, Evan's probably watching right now. Be like,
But-
no.
I will say
Yeah, I
the
just
college
picked-
disc golf is a really
Picked a
interesting
random name
thing.
out of the hat.
Who goes there?
Who knows who this guy is? No, he is a real person. But the answer is fiction. You know, people may know who the winner is because he made a big name. But Evan Cole came in second, 14 under, lost by just a single stroke to Robert Burridge, who
sounds right.
took it down. And you know, if you remember that, you know, repping Michigan, and then of course I went to the playoff later that year.
Poor Evan after that.
Stop walking.
They're so good. Oh, man, I bet you that guy's like. I mean, if you're losing by one stroke, you're a good disc golfer. He's gonna come back. He's gonna win some.
The future,
plenty of
the
other
future of
events.
college disc golf, though, is really interesting because there's so much room for growth, but it's pretty big. Like, they're bringing in a lot to this national championship. Steve Dodge doing his thing that he always does. He has the Collegiate Invitational to Maple Hill, and I was able to film there last year. And it's interesting because you're like, man, I want to go back to college because that seems really fun, team playing sports and all that. But
Yeah,
anyways,
a lot of growth
good
there. Evan
question.
Cole out of RIT as well. I'll give him a quick shout out there. Stat or fiction number 2, pertaining about Georgia. Georgia being one of the teams in the national championship tonight. Matt Dollar has the most wins in Georgia of any division in PDGA events.
I will carry Lord Clovers outside for
Matt
some fresh
Dollar
air.
has the most wins in the state of Georgia of any division in PDGA events. This was going to
you
Matt
looked it up
first.
because you were curious, I'm sure. But did you find out that it was true or not? Who else would it be? I'm gonna say fiction, man. He's been playing a long time, but that's a stat, and it's a good one if he has it. I'm saying fiction. I mean, like, it's good if he has it, but I'm saying fiction. You're up.
Over
Eagle.
you, Eagle.
I'm gonna go fact because I can't think of any other players from Georgia that's been around as long as he has, and I know that he played a lot before.
Any division though, is there some
Any
like,
division. So
FPO
this
division
is a player
where there's
out
like
of
a
Georgia,
woman
right?
showing up? Yeah.
It doesn't matter where they're
From.
from, just where the event was. So,
So
if they,
he's won the most
Let me at him.
in Georgia.
Yes.
yes, doesn't
All right,
matter.
I'll say
where he's from.
stat.
All right.
Yeah.
I could get a point or lose a point. Here we go.
That's how it works. All right, this is a stat. Matt Dollar has 115 wins in the state of Georgia. The second best is Kevin McCoy with 79. Pretty sizable lead. He'll probably hold on to for a good while, if not ever.
McCoy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and Robinson Brothers are on there. I saw them on the list. They're pretty high, not quite 115 though. And then stat or fiction number 3. The other team playing tonight is TCU, Texas Christian, who is out of Fort Worth. This question is about Texas State Disc Golf Championship, that event as a whole. Des Redding has the most Texas State Disc Golf Championship starts in the event's history in MPO or FPO. So Des Redding has the most Texas State Disc Golf Championship starts. Just starting, doesn't matter the outcome. In the event's history of just MPO and FPO.
These are cool
The two
stats if
of us.
I was to read them in Twitter, but when you say, is it true or not, that's tough. But
Yeah.
Eagle, you're up.
That's the game, though, right? So, Eagle, it is over to you now. All the pressure's on.
I'm gonna. My gut's telling me fiction because there's probably some other Texas person that's been around forever.
That's what I did with Matt Dollar, and I was wrong.
I'll say stat. She's an OG in the
Steve
sport.
Falco rule, Nick. Steve Falco.
I don't know. I just think she's in. Bro, you gotta get off the Steve Falco stuff. I mean, if I want a chance of winning, I gotta have to do this. Like,
Just so you know, Eagle, Steve Falco, it's random, but we had a guy in our chat who used to get upset at us if one guy would pick stat and the other fiction just to win. He's like,
Just
you
to try
gotta
to
write
win.
it down. You gotta write it down. So we just call it the Steve Falco rule.
I'll write down stat then.
Okay, here we go. I have no chance at winning here, so Steve Falco rule doesn't work for me. So let's see. For the history of this game, Evan tracks the stats at some level. The answer is stat. Yep. I can at least
All
tie
right.
Eagle.
At least tie. The answer is stat. Des Redding does in fact have the most.
What
with
was the
14
point?
total starts.
Oh, God.
There is a person, he might be well known, but to me, I didn't know his name before this, but Matthew Hall out of Texas. He has the second most with 13, the most in MPO. And then Paul Uwabari and Bradley Williams are tied for third with 12 starts.
All right, give me the point, intern. You left me hanging. I need to at least be tied with Eagle in something.
The only time I'll beat Eagle in something related to disc golf currently. So I'm going to soak this up for a little bit.
If you can't do
Steve
it,
Falco.
they always say.
See. As you say, my lord, but these Northmen are mortal, not demons. They want land and plunder.
True. The Northmen are fierce, and the king is slow to defend us. Yet every one of you swore an oath, before God, to defend this realm. We will overcome this evil, as we always have. I cannot compel you to do your duty. Your hearts must guide you. Gosselin, kindly show our guests out. Come out and say what you wish to say, Eivor of England.
You saw me enter. Fair enough. But how do you know me?
My scouts speak of a famed warrior with a raven. Do you think us fools?
Do you think us fools?
I did not expect such courtesy.
Mulled wine, what we call vin chaud. Properly spiced, seeded, and served with fruit. My one vice.
Wine grapes do not grow in the north. We drink mead.
Mead. Eivor, you risked much to see me. I respect that. But why? You have land in England, no?
I have no wish to settle my people in Francia.
Then how much coin will satisfy your lust? 100 deniers? 1,000? And after you, who's next? Ragnar and his sons came here years ago. We bought them off with silver. And they bound Paris anyway.
I do not want silver. I want England free of Frankish meddling. We are not part of your kingdom.
And I would like our kingdom free of Norse meddling, as you call it. But, for argument's sake, what are your terms? And they bound Paris.
As I said, Charles leaves England alone. I want England free of Frankish embraces meddling. Siegfried as an ally. And finally, he lets Siegfried's Thanes keep their lands in the north.
Rouen and Amiens were my father's lands! You shall never claim my birthright!
Man, he got mad fast.
Your army will never take Paris. And you will never have peace. Not here, and not in England. My men will escort you out. When next we meet, it shall be on the field of battle. Farewell.
I must return to camp and tell the others what Odo said.
And we fly.
Smart about it, yeah. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
45 minutes